All right. What's up, YouTube? Here we are. Trying something new today.
All right. What's up, YouTube? Here we are. Trying something new today.
How about we turn off the restream, the audio, because that's dumb. Just need that for the picture. All right. At least I know you can hear me at this point. So what I'm going to try to do today, again, I'm going to try something new with the live stream, doing a build, because guess what? They take forever and they're hard to edit, and you know what? Let's do something live. So I got all this tiny whoop stuff here. Why not give it a try? So I actually have a multi-GP whoop race coming up in 2 weeks. So I need some tiny whoop stuff, and what better reason to upgrade than to have a race coming up? So I built this one here, and I ordered some more stuff, so I had 2 of them. So if I crash and go down, I could still try to keep racing for the day. So what I went with here, this is all stuff from Amazon. Literally everything I got off of Amazon. They're pretty much going to be identical. The only difference is this one is the OSD version, and this one is not going to be the OSD version. So really, so you got those. I got this charger, right? I'm sure you see this all over. Now, the one thing about this charger, it's good because it does, you know, it does the high volt and regular, 4.2 volts. Does 0.2 amps and 0.6 amps, which is plenty for 1S and this stuff. If you want the high voltage, you're going to want to use a barrel plug, right? So if I plug this in here, you can just see when it cycles through, right? Channel 1, 4.22. There you go, 4.32. Anytime I plug whatever in here, if I plug a 3S or you know, a 3S or a 2S battery into this XT60, it can only get to like 4.22. And when it's in with the barrel plug, it'll be the same battery. I got an adapter here. Same battery into the barrel plug, and it'll get the batteries up to that 435. So something to note about this little charger here. You know what? We can plug these guys in because I do need to charge them. So I got 8 of these batteries. They're like 15 bucks, or no, I think these were 24 bucks. These must be the charged ones. Let's see. There you go, and you get the green light when they are charging. Make sure you have the right thing selected. All right, we're charging, so there you go. There's your charger, there's your batteries. All right, let's unbox this stuff and get right into it. Now, this is for frsky, right? I got a Tyrannus QX7. We got that in here. We're going to do the full thing. We're going to build it, set it up, get into beta flight, try to do the whole thing while we're live in the afternoon. Now, I know I'm sure the afternoon is not the best time for this, but hey, there you go. So this is the frame, Tiny 6 kit, and 65 millimeter for 6x15 motors. This is the white version, and this is the yellow version. So you get your frame, right? And this is supposed to be like an upgraded frame with a little more strength up in here, molded or whatever. I can tell you this is definitely a good frame. It's not like that super cheap plastic. It's a little flexible. Shouldn't crack as easy. Let's see. You get the stiffener. We're going to use that. These things do work. You get a prop removal tool. You get your little grommets and your screws and stuff. We're actually not going to use these ones. I'll show you that in a minute. We are going to use these little wires to hold, these little rubber bands to hold the wires. And then you get your, you know, your top little canopy and your 4 3-bladed props. I think I'm going to use 4-bladed props on this build. This one I used the 3-bladed ones. These are running, and we'll get to that in a second. All right, so that's the frame. All right, let's move that out of the way. We'll open this stuff up in a second. This was this stuff, so we don't need that. All right, motors. We are using, these are the 1900 kV motors from Crazepony. All right. And on this build, I'm using the betafpv 1900 or 19500, whatever. 19.5. Get these cases open. These are the black ones. I got 3 sets of these. You know, this is good. This is my main one. All right. So, got those for that one. Again, all this stuff's on Amazon. So 1900 kV. in here we have the FPV camera. All right, and we'll get into a little discussion about this camera in a second. All right, and we got the F3 Betaflight flight controller. Again, this is frsky-sbus D8. All right, that's what I got it to work on. So we need that, and we're going to need these screws and the rubber grommets and, you know, a couple things in that package. So that's pretty much it. This is a quick build. Keep your little boxes. They're good for screws and extra motors and whatever else you got going on. So, all right. Let's talk about this camera first. And I'm going to get this out of the way. So let's pop the hood off of this. And I'll show you the difference between the non-OSD flight controller and the OSD flight controller. It's not a whole lot different. And I actually ordered, they have an OSD version of the camera and a non-OSD version of the camera. And I have two non-OSD versions. And I'll show you also under here, when we get under here, a little hack. I'll show you a little hack for saving yourself $5. All right, so if I hold this up here and this flight controller up here, all right, I know you can't see under the camera, but really the only difference is this row of pins over here. That's the only thing you need to worry about. Your plus and minus is in the same spot right here. Your bind button, same spot on the bottom. All right, bind button. LEDs are still there. Everything is in the same spot. The only difference is you have this little row of pins over here that's going to be your video in and your video out. So right here is your video in, your video out, and then I believe it's a 5-volt and a ground, something like that down in here. That's going to be your only difference. And then the difference between the OSD camera and the non-OSD camera is they're going to give you also a video in and a video out pin, so you can run that to here. Now I'll show you the hack real quick, so we can get that out of the way. If you look, this is how the camera's held on. All right. It's held on with these 3 pins. You got your ground, your 5-volt, and your video. Your video is all the way on the right side. And all I did was, if you see, I just snipped that connector right there. I snipped that. I soldered to the underneath right here on this side, 1 wire. And I soldered 1 wire to the front side. So that gives you your video line out for the camera. This is your video out, and then that'll be your video back in for the OSD, and that works fine. And then your power inputs are going to be right here. I guess this was set up maybe that it, you know, it doesn't really line up with this right, so we're going to have to put little wires on there. I'll show you that as well. And the real crazy thing is, if you look, I got a different antenna on here. Mine was used when I got it. This was a used camera. This little plate wasn't in there. All right, the lens camera protector wasn't in there. The pins right here were all cut and melted and gunked up. Excuse me. There was a piece of 3M sticky tape on here that was already used, and the antenna, the negative shielding, was cracked, so that was no good. Now, obviously, you can send it back, but I figured I would try it and see if it worked, and if it still worked, you know, I'll just figure it out other than sending it back or whatever. But I did leave them a review, and I'm waiting for an answer back on that. But that's pretty crappy because, you know, this little frame's nice. It keeps the camera centered and everything, and, you know, you don't have to worry about it. But I put a new antenna on it. I fixed up this connector, and, you know, we're good to go. So this works. So we're going to basically do the same thing with this, all right? All right. So that's all we need to see with that. Everything else going forward is going to be the same with the OSD, non-OSD. The only difference is you're going to have to hook up your video line in and out on there. So that's that. All right, we're going to start with the frame. Let me open up these couple things and get them set up. All right, like I said, I don't think I'm going to use these props on this one. We don't need those screws. Let's put these over here, out of the way. We're going to use the screws from this, motors, flight controller, We need the top at the end. Camera and board, we'll prep that in a second. All right, so let's get our motors pressed in the right spot. So I'm just going to use this for reference. If I look underneath the front, all right, so the battery is going to slide in this way, like the easiest way. So we want this to be the front. And then the front is going to start with a gray and black wired motor. So we're just going to slip these guys in first. All right, so just gently slide them in all the way until they touch the bottom. Oof, be careful not to crack all this. All right, that's that one. So we got gray and black there. Then we need a red and blue one on this side, and that's the color of the wires. And we're just going to slip this connector in, so it's going to be going inwards towards the flight controller. And I can tell you, these motors definitely are sliding in a little easier than the black ones. They were a little stiffer to get in there. All right, and you can find all these products again on Amazon if you just type in Tiny Whoop. That's where I found them, and I'll put links in the replay. All right, so we got gray and black. So the other gray and black is going to go across. All right, and the last one's going to go here. Alright, that's our motors mounted. And I just got this battery in here for reference so I know which way it is forward. Now, the next thing I want to do is actually shorten this wire a little bit because honestly it's a little longer than you really need, and why not save a couple grams here because we're going to add on these couple extra little pieces. You know, this is nice here because they kind of took out the extra, you know, it's still strong enough, saving you a gram or two, right? With these things, every gram counts, right? So if you're going to do this, just be careful. Obviously, all this is at your own risk. So what I'll do is I'll desolder the connection, I'll cut it, and then resolder it. And these guys have a tendency to bridge very easy. So if they bridge, you just kind of have to give it a little swipe and it'll clear it. All right, let's cut this. I'm just going to use this for reference. So I'm going to go too short. We're just going to take a little bit off. Nice silicone wires with the 2.0 pitch already comes with it. And you don't have to do this. This is just something that I'm doing. You can leave it soldered together. Save yourself the time. But I don't like the extra wire hanging around. Alright, this ground is a little longer than I want. Alright, start with the positive. Make sure you tin everything up. And you should be able to just touch this guy right on here. Alright, that's positive. Sorry if I'm blocking this, everybody. Again, this is my first, you know, attempt at this live stream. All right, now we just want to check to make sure that nothing is crossing up there. It might look a little close, but it's not touching. Just fix that again. I got a little stray in the wire. This part right here is where you can make it and break it if you are doing this. If your positive and your negative touch, you are toast. Alright, I like that. going to bend this up around the USB cable, and that's where we're going to leave that. Now, next thing, we're going to get our little screws and stuff going here. Now we're going to use the 4 rubber grommets, and we don't need this is the 1.25 pitch, so they give you both. That's nice. We need the 4 rubber grommets, and we're going to need the 4 silver screws. All right, 4 screws, 4 grommets. All right, now what I'm just going to do is I'm going to kind of slip these in here, putting the the flatter part to the top. The one side's kind of got like a tapered bottom, and the other side's more flat at the top. Now, I don't know if that makes a difference any way or another, but that's just the way I'm doing it, and I'm going to try to keep them the same. Okay, now slide this out. Now you want your arrow going forward, right? You see your arrow right there by the red antenna. I'm going to slip this guy in here. All right. Oh, I lied to you. First, what we're going to do is we're going to get these wires coming up through here. And we're going to plug all these guys in, and then we're going to sit the flight controller down. All right. So with our arrow pointing forward, this is forward, right? Because we made that mark first. Get your right for your front left. We're going to start there, and this is going to be your arrow pointing forward, right? So front and back. All right. Just line this up the right way and push that on home. Same thing, just making sure everything's still straight. All right, there we go. 4 motors connected. Now we're going to push this down. And we're going to push the rubber grommets over the posts that are in the tiny whoop frame to kind of get this in its place. Oh, and I forgot to put the connector down, right? So slip that connector down back here. And then everything should sit nice and straight. Now the frame's a little flexible, so you can move it around to get the pins in the holes. All right, now, at this step, because we're only going to attach the camera system, all the camera system parts are going to go to the outside screws. I'm going to put the front screws in just so nothing moves around. Now, this can be tricky. These screws don't like to stick, and they're sometimes a pain to get in there. Just like that. I'll probably drop it 4 times before I actually get it right, or get it in the hole. That's what she said. All right, we got that one. And I'll tell you what, as I'm looking at this, I noticed that these silver ones are a lot longer, and I think what I did, if I remember right, yeah, I used the black screws from the pack that came with the frame on the front and the back, because you don't need as much thread on the front and back because it's not going through all these other parts. And that's got 4 extra grommets, so if you need them, you got some extra screws. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these black shorter ones. See, these are going to be a little bit shorter than these. I don't know, you can hold them up. Take my word for it. The black ones are a little bit shorter. I think it's the black ones have got plenty of thread in them. And then we use the silver ones for the extra space to that you're making up with the camera, 2 camera frame pieces. Alright, we got that one. I'll just cinch that down. One more black screw. And I told you, these are a freaking pain. They're tiny and they don't like to stick to your screwdriver. Alright, there we go. And like I said, we're just gonna touch it to the rubber and give a little bit. There we go. Alright, so how about that? After all that, I did the wrong side. Everything looks the same. So I did the sides, and that was dumb because the sides are going to get the screws for the camera system. So there you go. That's what happens when you're live. You don't get to edit out all your mistakes. I'm going to do my hardest not to curse. Honestly, this is the hardest part, getting these stupid little screws in here. Everything else is pretty cake. Like this is hard, but it's just a pain. Smaller it gets, the harder it gets. All right. Oh, that screw's gone. She's gone. Onto the floor, into the abyss. Thank goodness we got extras. You little shit. All right, now we got it. Okay. Now, next thing we're going to do is prep our camera. So now this camera, this beta FPV camera, all right, it has this positive and negative. I know it's labeled somewhere. At least the other one was. Yeah, it's labeled way down there, positive, negative. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut these pins off the bottom of this because I don't want it getting caught up on anything on the bottom. And I'm going to put my little wires on top. All right, so we look again. We got positive on the left. All right. We can also kind of snap this into its little frame. So it's going to go like this. Now look at that. One of those screws is going to have to go through there. Ooh, what a pain. It's like I said, the other camera I have didn't come with this little frame piece, so I had to kind of rig it up. All right. in there. Now, I'm just going to get some wire. You don't need much. All right, so a piece of black and a piece of red. And I'm just going to cut these and start them fresh. I'm going to put a little solder on the top. Now again, this is some more tricky soldering. You got to take your time. If you need to solder it on the bottom so you're not working such tight quarters, go ahead and do that. You can do that, you know. I kind of want to just keep everything clear. All right, so we got ground. We got positive. All right, just give them a little tug. Again, make sure they're not touching. Nothing's crossing. Let me get these a little closer. Okay, these look good. Again, I'm gonna double check. Positive is on the left, negative is on the right, so we're good to go with that. All right. Now, I'm going to test fit this guy, kind of see. Our positive and negative connection is literally right there on the top, so we don't need much. So I'm going to cut this off right about here. All right. Now I hope this is going to fit, everything's going to fit with this little plastic holder, and then put the lid, you know, the canopy on top. Prep the wires. I'm going to put a little more on these pads down here. You don't want to stay there too long. All right. Red to positive. Black to negative. All right, now, when you're doing stuff this small, it's always good to get it close and just give it a good check. All right, we should be good with that. And we fit nice and good on there. Now, I've got to take the front screw out again. Now this will just help give the whole thing some rigidity, being that it's going to attach the front and the sides kind of like this, and you want to make sure that your arrow is facing forward. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to not pinch my antenna under here, so I'm just going to lift that up, put this into place. I really don't know how I'm going to get that screw in the front. That's going to be difficult. All right, let's get one of these on the side. Oh, guess what? We got to put the lid on this yet. So that is no good. No good. So really, we need to get a screw in the front. How do you get a screw in the front? With the camera being there. Oh, guess what? I know how to do it. I'm being not smart here. Let's take the camera out of the frame. How about that? Da-da-da. That's how this stuff is. You just gotta have to work yourself through it. I mean, you guys watching probably thought that was obvious. Now you want to try to avoid like putting these screws in 100 times, because this is like very light, thin plastic, and you could strip these guys out without too much effort. So that's definitely something. All right, let's put this back in here. All right, push that into place, and then here's your button right here to change it. I'll show you that once we get that going. Let's see, can I see the chat? I was just thinking. All right, so I got the chat up. What's up, Bob? If you're still watching, I don't know. I can't tell if you're still watching at the moment, but what's up, dude? Probably were watching on your lunch break, I would imagine. All right, back to this. Sorry about that. Okay, what do I want to do next? Let's tuck this guy up in here. Let's get these wires tucked back up. Let's get this antenna tucked on top. And let's see how this lid fits. Now, I had to trim the other one. I think I'm going to do the same thing just to give it a little more space, because this kind of lifts it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, right here in the top, it's got this like piece here that hooks onto the camera. We're just going to snip that out of there, and that'll give it a little extra space to sit flush. Snapped out much easier yesterday. All right, so we just kind of cleared that up, give it a little more space. And now we can just drop this over top. Now you can see I got a lot of space in there. I might actually bail on the on that camera frame. Kind of don't like that. I mean, I guess you could run it like this, you know, screwed down and save the weight, but you know what? I'm gonna take this off. I don't really like this camera frame, to be honest. Kind of worked without it yesterday. So, back again. We're going to take this front screw out for the 4th freaking time. Put it back in. And drop it 300 times. starting to mess this guy up here. All right. We're gonna go with a little piece of 3M tape. Alright. I feel like this is sagging down here. Alright. I'm just gonna push this in the middle, not too hard. Tuck that around, tuck that like that. Alright, now the lid should go on that pretty easy. Now, next thing I just want to do here is check to make sure that all this is even turning on. We have to bind it yet. Here we go. Camera seems to be on. All right, that looks good. Now, put the lid on here. Let's see. Move this up a little bit. All right, that looks good right about there. So it's like the frame sitting on it. It's kind of protected. All right, we're gonna need 2 more of these silver screws. And we're gonna screw this cap down. And drop one, because that's how it goes. Looks like I missed the hole. Seriously, these screws are like the worst part. Like, not even joking. If they just stuck to the screwdriver a little bit better, it wouldn't be so bad. But damn, what a pain in the ass. Oh boy. I'm sure you guys are loving watching this craziness. They're like a weird size. They're like too small for a number 2 and a little too big for a number 1. Or a 0 and a number 1, I think. Yeah, this is a 0 and number 1 is like too big. Alright, we got that one started. I'm gonna get the other one started. Now I still got access to my button in there to change the frequency. It's a 25 milliwatt, so you don't have to worry about that. Just have to change your band and your channel. Alright, so we got that. We'll just tighten that down. Again, do not over tighten these screws. It's all plastic. You could just strip these right on out. Even the front one is just like bowing out big time. Oh, there we go. That keeps that up in there. Alright. I think that's going to do that. So there you go. We're pretty much built up here. We're almost ready to bind. Let's see. All right. Let's finish the build and then I'll bind it up last. So if you don't need to watch the setup, you don't have to watch the setup. All right. So we're going to get the little rubber washers out of this package. Now feel free, like I said, feel free to use whatever all this stuff in your own combination, however you feel. If you want to save more weight by not using certain things, that's totally up to you. But I like these, like, keep the wires neat. I just feel like it kind of keeps everything a little neater. All right. Then we're going to tuck these down in here. Like that. Just kind of push them down. So they're kind of like right there. And now we're all kind of neat. Now you can see we still got a lot of flex in this thing because it's that flexible plastic. So we're going to slip this guy on. Now this just kind of pushes over it. And again, this is one of those things you just need to be careful with and kind of get it on. Sometimes it takes a little more force than you might think you would want to put into it. I know I had some trouble yesterday, but there you go. Once it slides on, it slides on. And you want to go like a third of the way up the motor, I found is like the best spot. Support it from the motor. Try not to push on the plastic too hard. You can kind of stretch it out a little, kind of help it in. There we go. That one went a little too far. And then this will also keep those rubber wire holders kind of on there too, so along with the frame stiffener. All right, there we go. Now that instantly just stiffens this guy up. So now, she could take some more hits. All right. Now, let's see. Let's get some of these extras out of here. We're going to bind it, and then we're going to go into beta flight. Extra screws, keep those guys. And it also looked like it came with, I think this came in the camera. It was like a little pin extender. I don't know what you would use that for. Maybe a different board or something. All right. Now, my Tyrannus in here.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Now, they would bind on the same model, but I like to keep like these D8 ones separate because I feel like the the midpoints and endpoints are never exactly correct, so you end up having to adjust them different for each other, and the trims are different. All right, so I'm going to hold the bind button. We're in bind mode on the Tyrannus, and we're going to try to do this one-handed. Red light there. And now it went out, so we might be all right. Now it's blinking. Let's see, I'm going to unplug and replug. Sometimes these take a couple times. Might have to go to beta flight to verify, see what we got. Yep, looks like we got bind.
Welcome
so
to
now it's blinking.
OpenTX.
And now we got a solid light, so we should be bound. Yes, I can see we are bound, but we're going to have to go into beta flight. All right. Hang on a second. Let me
Telemetry lost.
Adjust here, and we will get into beta flight. And you heard telemetry there. I don't remember the other one doing that. All right. Okay. And we're going to go right into the USB.
Telemetry recovered.
And it does power up the receiver. Connect. Connect. All right, there we go. Now, because the USB is on the bottom, we're not going to do a compass calibrate the accelerometer because that's going to mess it up. But I'll show you this stick command you can use once you get done with this to calibrate the accelerometer, and you can do that anytime you want through your transmitter. So I just see UART's picked, configuration. Now most of this is already set up. So we got brushed. I'm going to leave all that alone. 8 and 2 barometer. We can turn the barometer off. I'm going to leave all this stuff alone. I'm just going to put, we don't need a craft name, so we don't need OSD on this one. Telemetry. I don't need transponder. Maybe I will because I'm going to be using this. Now, I'm not even going to turn on anti-gravity or dynamic filter or any of that for this stuff. So we're going to save and reboot. And we're going to connect again. So all I did so far was just turn the barometer off because we don't need that. Now, I don't know, at my multi-GP race, I don't know if they're going to have race transponders, so we'll just leave that on. Let's go to receiver, make sure we're in the right direction. No, we're not, because I run my Tyrannus in AETR, so let's save that. All right, there we go. We got roll, pitch, yaw, throttle, aux 1. All right, so we're good with that. And see, I'll have to fix all these endpoints, but I'll do that on my own. That's a separate thing. Let's go to modes. All right, aux 1 is arm. All right, we got angle. Now, I like it to be an angle all the time, so we're going to do that. That's fine. We don't need horizon or head free. We don't need beeper. All right, OSD disable. Well, we don't need that on this one because there's no OSD. That should be all we need. I'm going to put air mode on a switch. I'm just on a switch just to have it. You really don't fly it on this. I'm going to put that there. Save. All right, that should be good. Beautiful. Let's see, receiver. I'm done with that. PID tuning. Again, I'm going to leave this alone for now. That's for later. One thing I am going to do is go to motors. I don't have a battery plugged in. We'll check that in a second. All right, so we should be good. You know what? I'm going to go back and turn off race transponder because I don't know what's that all about. I could put that back on if I need it. Looks like there's settings in there anyway. All right, save and reboot. All right, we are done. And you wouldn't have really had to even go in here if you run your Tyrannus or whatever in TEAR. You wouldn't have had to do this. So disconnect. We should be good to go now.
Telemetry lost.
And you can see we got telemetry. I have to set my endpoints and all, so don't. All right, now let's plug this guy in. Let's make sure we're running.
Telemetry recovered.
All right.
3 minutes.
All right. Now,
Telemetry lost.
put some props on. Let's see. Like I said, I think I want to try these 4-bladed props with this one. I don't know. What should we use? These. I got gray and black. I got blue. Yeah, let's use the gray and black. So we're just going to push these on. And how about we angle this back down so you can see what I'm doing? Sorry. First live stream. All right, we got that. Inward. Inward. Black. Where is the last black prop? Awesome. Missing the black. I got one. Where the heck was all of them? They just push them down. I am down a black quad prop. I had it in here. Where did it go? Alright, well that sucks. I'm just going to put a blue one on here. These are all the same. I really don't want to do that, but figure that out later. See where that little pesky bugger went off to. Alright. Let's see. Please, this is going to go in here. This.
Telemetry recovered.
All right, I got to fix my endpoints big time, but we're good. Oh, there's the black prop. How the heck it got under there? Beats me. I can show you how the prop remover tool works
Telemetry
now.
lost.
All right, now our next thing we need to do is we need to check the video. We need to make sure the camera works, right? So let's get a camera. That should be on my channel already. Plug this guy in.
Telemetry recovered.
I'm just gonna get, if you see here, we got the blue line, it's your band, I believe. Yeah, band's on the top, channel's on the bottom. No paperwork came with it, but I imagine it's on A probably. And then on the bottom, you got your 8 channels. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my, and I hold it. Oh, I just changed it. So if you hold it long, press, it changes the band. There we go. And we got video. We're good to go. Like I said, this one doesn't have OSD, but you can see, woo, we are all good to go. That is pretty much done. That is the only thing I got to do is the endpoints, and I'll do that next. So if you want to tune out for that, you don't have to watch. While we're here at this part, I will show you, let's put this back together, and I will show you the OSD. Now, this one, you can see I got the Rotor Riot. I think the yellow one I'm going to turn into the frsky, because I got little frsky stickers. So I'm going to put this lid back on here. And I'm sure I lost one of them screws, because why not? Yes, of course. No need to fear. I got some extras. Actually, I got one right here. I got a couple right here in this old frame. This was my original one that I had. And this one, I was going to use that screw. Jeez, I'm bad with screws on here. I'll have to try to see if I can't find them screws later. I'll tell you what, look how small that one is. It's going anyway. Yeah, that was my original one, and that sucker stopped working like nothing. Just all of a sudden, it decided to stop connecting to it. It would connect. It would bind to my Tyrannus, and then it would just kick right off. And it was heavy and slow. I think it had 17.5 kV motors on it. So, forget it. Oh, guys. Oh, guys. I'm killing myself with these screws. It's really hard to do on this camera. I got like no extra screws left. My goodness. Yeah, there is like no screws left. I've dropped them all in this video. I literally have dropped, nope, there one just kicked out. Oh, there's another one stuck to the bottom. That's where it is. It's stuck to the bottom. To the magnet on the motor. That's kind of funny. All right. Okay. All right. Got a screw back. No worries. Oh boy. All right. Let's see. There's another screw. All right. Show you the OSD. There you go. See, we got, and that was already set up. The name, warnings will be up here. Your voltage, timer, disarmed. There's your armed. And I got the little crosshair in there. Simple, easy, nothing to it. This one is all kind of, this one's all tuned and flying good. No problems. All right, let's turn this off. Get this out of here. Oh, God. All right. Let's, all right, that's that one. Let's remove this prop. So you get your prop tool. Just kind of get it under the prop and pry up. It should pop off. And then I'm going to put this black one on here. Boom. There we go. All right. Done with that. All right, so look, we got the Rotor Riot whoop, and I think we're gonna make this one the frsky whoop. I think these little stickers would fit. I mean, I wish I had two black ones, but I'm sure they'll work. There you go. Boom. frsky tiny whoop. Running beta flight. All right. There you go. So, the non-OSD using the betafpv. All right. Betafpv flight controller, betafpv all-in-one camera. The camera's 3.6 grams, so it's not a bad weight. The flight, no OSD was $30. No OSD camera was $25. The frame with the props and the grommets and screws and all, everything you need there, and the stifner was $11.99. So it came out to, and then the motors were $10 for a set of four 1900 kV motors. It came out to $70, I believe. It was just about $70 shipped. This one, the flight controller is $40. I used the non-OSD camera, so I saved $5 there. It's up to you what you want to do. The reason why I got the non-OSD is because it was shipped faster, but whatever. So it's $25, $40. I got 3 sets of motors for this one, so that was $25. Which you're going to want backup motors. The motors burn out, and that's just what they do. They're brush motors, right? Frame and props, and this one was about $80-something. Again, I'll have the links in the description. And then I got 8 batteries for $25. I got this charger for $15. And that's pretty much everything. That's everything. You're in the air, flying around. Now, here's a little thing you can make up if you have an extra JST 2.0 pitch on a little servo connector, right? Negative, positive. Why is this not working now? There we go. See, there you go. You can check your voltage with your multimeter if you have one of these. If you don't have something like this that reads out your voltage. All right. Now, I see I still got 2 people watching. My question is, I'm going to look at the chat. Do you want to see me tune this on camera? Because I will. You know, do the endpoints and the trim. You know, I will do it if you want to see it. If not, I'll just do it on my own. Let me check here. Check the chat. So, I mean, other than that, we're pretty much good to go. Unless you want to see me do once the endpoints and the center points are calibrated, this thing is good to go and good to fly without a problem. All right, good to see. So we'll do it. All right. Tyrannus. I actually got to turn telemetry on this one too, so we'll do that while we're here. Because if you don't turn telemetry on, and I'll show you how to check your telemetry and all that too while we're here. Why not? All right, back up to the laptop. All right, let's connect. Now this will be true for Tyrannus. Your any Tyrannus, your X9D, your X7, if you got the newer one, whatever, anything running OpenTX, I imagine it'll be the same. So what you're going to do is go to your receiver. All right, and now we can see, hopefully you can see, I know that it looks like the video is breaking up a little bit, but our roll, pitch, yaw, and our, you know, the center points are way off, way out of calibration here. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to hit menu. All right, I'm going to hold page back, page back, page back, page back, page back, page back. So here on page 7 is your outputs. We're going to go to channel 1, edit. Now the numbers that were in here, because I copied this, but what you're going to do is whatever these numbers say, all right, you're going to try to bring this your center point. So channel 1 is going to be your roll. All right, so I'm just going to bring this up because we got to bring it that way, right? And you can see it's changing, right? We're going to want to bring this to 1500. And this is going to help you trim it. So we're bouncing 1499. Give the stick a wiggle. All right, there we go. So 1500. Good to go with that. Now, you want to hold your stick to the left. That's going to be your min. And I'm at 990, so we need to bring this up again. Click on it. This is hard to do, I know. So we're just going to go up until we get that to 1000 while I'm holding the stick. And there we are, we're at 1000. And then we're going to check our max. So click on that, right? Highlight max. Hold this to our max. And then we're at 86, so we need to bring this up to 2000. Spin the wheel. 2000. 2001, I'm going to back it off just one thing. And then check your center again, because sometimes that could change it. So we got 1000, 2000. Again, that's going to change a little, 1501, that's all right. All right, so now we're going to exit out of channel 1, do the same thing for channel 2. Edit. We're going to go to our trim, our sub-trim, click on that, start bringing it up, and we're going to get that to 1500. And you really only need to do this for your 4 main channels. The other ones don't really matter as long as they're close. And you might not have to do this if you started with a fresh model, but because I've copied this over other models so I can save my like logical switch stuff. All right, so there's our pitch. We're gonna go down to min, highlight min, hold the stick down, and we're gonna bring this up till we get to 1,000. Boom. All right, same thing. Now we're gonna go down to max, hold it up, and we're gonna bring that to 2,000, or as close as you can get it. I think mine's a little off. I think the closest I can get to is 80 something. Yeah, 87. I know it's weird, but it ends up flying fine. All right. I bet if I start a fresh model, I wouldn't have that problem. All right, channel 3 is throttle. We'll get back to that last. Let's do yaw, edit. We're gonna edit our trim. So yaw is gonna be channel 4 in your remote if you're in if you have my setup, AETR. If yours is TAER, it's going to be a little bit different, but the process will be the same, but you just need, of course, throttles channel 1, rolls 2, or whatever it ends up being, TAER is TEAR. So throttles 1, pitch is 2, roll is 3, rudder is 4. Rudder's 4 on both, but all right. So let's bring our trim up. The sub trim is the most important. And you don't want to be over 2,000 or under 1,000 or you're not going to arm. All right, we got that sitting at 1,500. And we're going to go to min. And bring that up. $1,000 max. Bring that up. 2,000. All right, now we're going to exit. I'm going to go to channel 3 now for our throttle, edit, and I'm going to do min first. All right, and we're going to make sure that's at 1,000 or else it won't, it's going to struggle arming. Or no, it won't. As long as it's not over 1050, it'll arm. That's right, but you just want it set, you know, it's made to be at 1,000. All right, we're going to go max. Same thing, scroll that one up. All right, we're at 2,000. All right, now I'm going to line up the center. Now, your throttle mid is not so important, but I'm going to fix it anyway since I'm here. And this only has to go a little bit. All right, there we go. Now, for that one, you're going to want to put it, you know, the line to the line. That's going to be your midpoint for your throttle. All right, now, after messing everything around, I'm going to exit, and I can see that yaw is kind of hovering 1499.98 there, so I'm going to go back to 4, edit, and I'm going to give that another click of sub trim there. So now what this does, basically, it gives you your full range of trims up in your switches when you need them, because you're going to have to trim it. But this is just like a basic starting point, you know, so it flies pretty straight, and then you can trim it. So the other thing I like to do is, you see this aux 5 you got going on here? The way this one's set up is RSSI is on channel 5, so you can put that there. Now, if you had OSD, you could put this in your screen. I don't, not on this one. I'll show you that on the other one. All right, so we are pretty much good. See how it just changes a little by little? That's all right. We're pretty close. I'm good. I'm happy with that. I think that's it. That's it for that. What else did I say we were going to do? I think that's it. I'll show you the OSD version. Oh, telemetry. We'll turn on telemetry. All right, so we're good with this one. We have no OSD on this one, so we're done with that. Let's disconnect. Now, I'll show you telemetry. They're going to be same on both. I'm going to plug in my other model here, and I'm going to go to my other model in my controller where I don't have telemetry set up. So I'll show you how to set up telemetry if you don't have it set up from fresh, because this does have telemetry. All right, we are plugged in. All right, connect. All right, telemetry. Go to configuration. We're going to go down and turn on. Oh, telemetry is already on here for this one. All right. So we can disconnect. Telemetry is already on. Let's see. Let's just try this, and then we'll go back to that. There's something else I want to see if I can get the RSSI and the OSD. All right, let's turn this on. All right, so we have ARM. So now I'm going to go page over. That should be telemetry. Discover new sensors. Let's try this. Let's because it did work on the other model where I had the telemetry already set. So let's try something here. Let me see. So this is how, we get through all this stuff here. Let's see. Let's go. Where's my mouse? Give me my mouse. Let's go to receiver. Now, interesting. Very interesting. This is the OSD version, and you see how this aux 5 channel isn't moving? So that's going to tell me that we do not have telemetry on this one, which is strange. Let me see if I switch the model. Let's see. Because it did say. Interesting. Oh, you know what? I bet you it's because I don't. Let's see if I have a battery in it. See if that changes it any. Nope. Huh. Telemetry is on. Let's disconnect. Yeah, no telemetry with that one. Could have sworn it said telemetry discovered. All right, so on the one without OSD, I am getting at least RSSI through the telemetry. So I went to discover new sensors, so I am getting the RSSI. So I usually like my critical alarm at 38. So that's pretty cool. Weird that the other one doesn't have it. That is strange. Disconnect.
Telemetry lost.
All right, telemetry lost.
Telemetry recovered.
Telemetry recovered. All right, so that's the non-OSD. And you see when I was in the receiver tab that channel 5 wasn't moving on the OSD version. Yeah, isn't that interesting? So the OSD version doesn't seem to have telemetry. So all right, well, yeah, so that's a thing. Definitely a thing. It might say it on, the listing, but I know I didn't notice that. So, kind of cool. It doesn't have voltage or anything, but it does have RSSI. So, the OSD version obviously has OSD, so you get your timer and your voltage on here. And the non-OSD version seems to have telemetry, so it will. And you know what? I bet you that's because this is probably the upgraded version. I think this one said it had S-bus, and this one doesn't. This is a standard D8. So I bet you that's what that's all about. Could be that. I don't know. I'll investigate into that whole thing. So let's see. All right. So the new one. Now, when I booted this one up originally, it kind of flipped over, right? So let's check it. And I know we didn't talk about the antenna, but that kind of just flops out here in the back. You can kind of peel that up here if you want, or whatever you want to do. It's kind of just there. All right. So we're going to change this to the right model. See, now all the motors spin up even now. Oh. It's pretty much good to go. See my messy bench. Whoa, guess what? I feel like it's not in angle mode.
3 minutes.
It's not. I'm in air mode. Oh man, you gotta love these things. So you can also see we got the green lights down there, so that's kind of cool. Gives you a little effect. I'm gonna go back in here and figure out what's wrong with my modes, because that's in air mode. I must have clicked something, or who the hell knows what I did. But that's why you fly things and you try things and you test things.
Recovered.
I got one more cool thing to show you. So let's put that up there. Connect. So you can see with this one, I'll show you while you're waiting. There is our telemetry. We got RSSI. So we go too close. That normally would kick out, but hey, whatever. All right, let me check my modes. All right, angle. Oh, guess what? I didn't switch this right way, or didn't save it or something. Oh no, angle's right, arm. It's in angle. Air mode would be there. Did I turn on? Accelerometer's on. Alright, that's all right. Angle. Arm. Save. Oh, I know why. Because angle's on my aux1 channel. It needs to be on my aux2 channel. Aha. That's why. Alright, that's what that was all about. Alright, so make sure your aux channels are right in Betaflight. Because it had it manually set up in there, so I didn't change it.
Telemetry
If
lost.
it just left it in, you know, left it blank, I think, you know, you're less likely to do something like that. But it had arm and angle set on aux1, and that's not how I like to set mine up. All right, so let's see. Let's take a flight, and you can watch the OSD, I guess. And I'm just messing around here. All right, we should be good to go now. If my stupid thing doesn't fall over. All right, can you see that? Oh, I tell you what, one more thing before we go. Calibrate while you're disarmed. Throttle up to the left, pitch down, and you just calibrated your accelerometer right from there. So that's a cool little handy thing. Anytime it gets a little funky or out of whack. All right, don't mind my messy basement. It is what it is. It's a basement. Oh yeah, she's flying good. I'm just flying line of sight. But yeah, you get the point. And that's it. And that's pretty much how you set it up. Let me see, I'll fly from the screen. I'm looking at what you're looking at now. Yeah, my basement is a super mess, but it's a basement. Just needs a little more yaw.
2 minutes.
Yeah, look at me, looking at the screen. Da-da-da. All right. There you go. Any other questions?
Telemetry lost.
Questions, concerns, comments? There's still 2. I guess there was 2 of you that watched for that whole time there. I appreciate you sticking through. I know it's long, but... Yeah, no problem. Germany, wow, that's awesome. 1 out of 2, and you're not even in the U.S. So I don't know if you've seen my my giveaway. I apologize. It's only U.S. only, but don't worry, you international folks, I'm working something out. But we got to get close to 1,000 subs anyway. I'm trying. I'm working hard. So maybe we'll do some live streams and some builds. Listen, tomorrow, or maybe I'll wait till the weekend so I don't have to do it in the afternoon. But I am going to do a rebuild of, let me see, what do I got? I have to do a review of these DYS shoe motors. And I was flying last weekend and I was practicing a Matty flip and I did get it down. So stay tuned. I'm going to have some super dope video coming out soon. I'm getting some pretty cool tricks down. But the flight controller went out. The VTX is all jammed up. Motors are still fine. Motors took no damage at all. So I guess I landed pretty square. So I did get a RJX Hobby Betaflight F4 board from Amazon. I seen it and I said, well, might as well try it out, right? I was ordering from Amazon anyway. So I will do a live build video of rebuilding this guy. Actually, scratch that. Scratch that a second. Scratch that a second. Scratch that a second. The actual plan, I forgot here a second. I got 2 builds here. That board is going into this. There's a Betaflight F3 in here that I want to take out, and I want to put an F4. Because my other build that I fly the most has the Barwell F4, which is a phenomenal board. Everybody out there, phenomenal. Okay? There's a couple little tweaks. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good with the Predator camera. By the way, get yourself a Predator camera. The thing is freaking awesome. But yeah, so I'm going to rebuild this. This got a Betaflight F3. I'm going to put the F4 board on here, then leave all this stuff alone. This has got my hype trains, Bullet 30 amp ESCs, a Foxeer Arrow V3. It's got an AKK transmitter with an Axie, MMCX Axie under there, if you can see that. So this is this is my other good build. And then what we'll do, once I get the Betaflight F3 out of that, the Betaflight F3 will go into this. So I guess I have to figure out an ESC option because this thing was running the bolt. If you looked at my older videos, it was running this bolt, but these caps are freaking ridiculous. Just ridiculous to put these off the front. So I don't know. I do have some just BLHeli-S ESCs, which I'll probably do because it's just easier. I'll put the BLHeli-S ESCs out here, Betaflight F3 in there, and I got to get a VTX for this thing. So, yeah, we got a couple builds coming up. And then the Coupe de Gras, the big one that I'm hanging on to, okay, the awesome build that I have coming up. All right, either going to be my foreman bonus that I'm getting or my tax return, if I even get any money back from my tax return, whatever. But the next $400 that I can waste, all right, I'm going to do a rooster build All right, Armington Rooster. That's my next quad. My next good, awesome quad. I'm going to do a new one with, more updated parts. What I'm thinking is I'm going to do rooster frame for sure. I think I want to do a Bardwell, but he's got the MPU 6000 in there, and I want to get something that's going to be kind of ready to use 3.3 when 3.3 comes out. So I think I might use a Fortini, the Fortini F4, and some sort of all-in-one, maybe the Speedix or the Hobby Wing maybe, something with BL Heli 32, so I can run D-Shot 1200. BL Heli 32 has the new software, so we'll go through that. That one's probably going to be, this one's freaking hour and a half, so it's going to be probably long when we do that one. But that one's definitely going to go out live. I'm going to have a Predator on there, definitely a Predator, definitely a Rooster, definitely BL Heli 32 ESCs, whether it's going to be a 4-in-1 or a separate, not sure yet. The Rooster has separate arms, but it's a lower deck, so probably 4 separate ESCs. I got these, I got 3 of them. I kind of ruined one, but I do have these Speedix GS30A BL Heli 32 ESCs. I got these a while ago, but BL Heli 32 finally upgraded the firmware, so we can use you can use turtle mode correctly now with BL Heli 32. So, I messed one of them up, but just get one. Probably use these. Predator, Rooster, maybe a Fortini. Well, Fortini, you're gonna have to use if you get a Fortini, you're gonna have to use a PDB for that. So maybe not the Fortini. I don't know. Flight controller's still in the air. I kind of want to get something ready for the 32 kilohertz sampling and the common filters. So that's kind of up in the air. Yeah, I still got a bunch of crap to review. Predators, I got that almost ready to go. Stay tuned for that one. The Predator camera is freaking awesome. That thing is just phenomenal. All right, here we go right here. Black Predator with a Bardwell F4 DYS XSD 30A ESCs. These things, I've had these the longest. They're freaking phenomenal. They're BL Heli S, but they just keep working. Hype train motors with these gem fan props. An Axie. I got a AKK X2P underneath of there. This thing is another an RXSR. I got full telemetry, flip over mode, OSD control, everything. This thing is freaking set up. Awesome. It's a joy to fly. Locked in, tuned in fast, all that other good stuff. All right. Any last questions? I'm going to give it another minute. Again, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I'm going to let the stream go back up, and I think that'll be it. I think we'll close it out here. Thanks for watching. I know it was a long one, but I had fun building it live, and, it was kind of cool. All right, we'll call it there. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you on the next one.